What's up, my loves? This your girl Diamond, and I'm back with the final part of the Real Housewives of Potomac season 6 reunion part 4. Thank God we're at the end. I'm so done with the season. I am. So continue with the reunion. Nikki is going straight to Ashley about pretty much Ashley didn't have a storyline this season, and how you went from having your baby, staying home, being a mommy, and you pretty much had a separation of you being a mommy, then you being on the Real Housewives of Potomac. And it's like literally, you just came in here, became Giselle's side chick, and left. Girl, you should have stayed home. What you do that for? You didn't have much of a storyline. You was trying to do this and get some camera time. I think I bit my same lip. Like I said, you told my same spot. But Ashley said, listen, at the end of the day, this is my 6th season on the show. And I've been present and ready to perform at any given point. I have always stood up front with what I said about people to their faces. And whether or not I have something of my own life being presented on the show, I come on the scene and people tell me shit, which is true. Any given time Ashley is in the scene, someone is telling her something. It's usually Giselle telling Ashley about what she heard, what she want to do, and of course, Giselle creates it to bring it to Ashley. Ashley being the bone carrier, and she travels it throughout the group, and that's how it goes. Ashley does her part. Whether or not folks gonna be like, you waited till this to get your storyline, why you born? At the end of the day, Ashley came in, did her job, and left. Moved on from that. So then, it's like at the same time, what was the purpose of you coming in to say that to Wendy? Like at the end of the day, girl, you didn't know anything about it. You didn't have any full-on conversation. You did not try to see the other side. You just came in and spoke on what Giselle told you. And Wendy believed that Ashley didn't have any malicious intent when she heard it, because she instantly knew where it came from. Giselle. And of course, we're looking at the dynamics of the friendship. Ashley and Wendy don't have much of a solid friendship. They don't. I'm pretty sure they're at cordial standing. But Giselle and Wendy have had a friendship. So, of course, if I want to hear something about my friend is talking about me, I want to hear from my friend. I don't want to hear with someone I don't really consider a friend. But at the same time, it's kind of like, why would I shoot the messenger when I knew who sent the messenger? You know what I'm saying? And Nikki is pretty much trying to say, first of all, what do you mean it wasn't malicious what she did? She put the knife in the front while she put the knife in your back. What are you talking about? But I stand by what I said when I saw that scene. I don't believe Ashley had malicious intent for what was being said. Granted, the way that she did it was messy, but I do believe that Ashley had no malicious intent of informing Wendy. The entire situation was messy, of course. She came, she did her job and left. Yes, but other than that, it's kind of like, the whole thing that she did was fucked up, and why would you do that? And we're gonna move on from that. So then is Robin chimes in because she feels like Ashley did not expect for that big reaction from what Wendy did. And I'm like, damn, Robin, you caping again? And Nick is like, Robin, are you serious? Are you serious, Robin? Are you serious? Girl, no. So of course we're just going back and forth with the same intent. People are assuming, people who bring up blogs all the time, they just roll off her shoulders. So they thought that Wendy would have taken it that literally. You know what I'm saying? They thought it was gonna roll off her shoulders. We just gonna move on and laugh about it. But that's not how it was. So here we are. Then Nikki goes to Robin. I'm in the Twilight Zone. She said this. She said that I saw some sexual chemistry more than what I've seen between you and Juan. You saw who? With who? Doing what? What you mean you saw more chemistry between Juan and Robin this season? I didn't see nothing like that. I don't even see them hold hands. I don't see them kiss. They give me convenience. It's just for the time being. I'm done. I'm complacent. This is a roommate situation. I don't get nothing else from it. So then she's asking what turned you guys on to this type of, space now? What was it? Was it because the kids are at home? What was it? So Robin said, I think it's me pursuing my business and me being a celebrity, because he was the one that was in the spotlight of being in the NBA. People knew him. But now since I'm coming into my own, he's finding it sexy. And the kids are in virtual learning school, so they're home. So he's trying to find creative ways of having sex. I'm like, okay, fine. Then, Also, yes, the one thing that Nikki also realized that, oh no, no, not realized, but she did hear from a lot of viewers, a lot of comments that feels like Robin does cape for Giselle a lot, and she does follow her. She does speak up for her when she just needs to be speaking up. Pretty much just covers it, being the damn dummy, being the test dummy from all the bashes and beatings that she takes for Giselle. And one thing that struck a nerve is the constant use of we. Because in Williamsburg, when Wendy pretty much read their asses for filth for what was happening, Robin at the end said, "Are we mad at Ashley? What did Ashley do? Are we mad at her? What's gonna happen?" So of course it's like, why do you need to ask Giselle, "Are we mad at Ashley?" Why do you need someone else to tell you how you should feel when it comes to another person? And then Wendy said, "No, Wendy." Robin said, "No, that's not what it was because I had no idea what Ashley said to Wendy." And then I was just looking at the whole entire group aspect. Are we mad at Ashley? Robin, at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care. You came for Giselle. You always came for Giselle, and you got in the crossfire. So of course you're using that you were drunk and didn't know what you were doing. At the same time, Robin, you've done it now. You're doing it this reunion. When it wasn't Giselle, you were caping for Ashley, as if Ashley can speak up for herself. And it's so crazy how you're speaking up for them. It's crazy to me. Uh, I don't know. So then, we're now talking about, yeah, the constant. Oh, you're not talking about. We're continuing with her using the word we, because also we was also being said we're not going to the Eastern Shore that Wendy's trip was, because the whole reason this shady event and how the reason shady the invite to what was being sent was a shady moment about all the haters and the stuff. So of course, since it wasn't communicated that they were on a podcast, this was supposed to be a surprise moment, so they sent a reasonably shady invitation. Wendy took offense to it. So since she took offense to it, she became petty and gave y'all a shitty ass invite for the Eastern Shore. Tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, if you're not a real hater, you shouldn't take offense to it, which is true. But if you're starting out with a shady ass invitation with no underlying reasoning, or I didn't even think what was this about? Is this a test or something? Just tit for tat. It's tit for tat all the way around how you look at it. So since Wendy got a shady ass invite to your reasonably shady, event at your construction site, she sent y'all a shady ass invite to Eastern Shore. We're gonna move on from there. So Nikki asks, Nikki asks about what people has been saying for years. Are Giselle and Robin lovers? They said, no, Robin, she's not my type. What's your type, Robin? You like masculine? Is you a STEM? Is you a femme? What is it? Dominant? Like the aggressive? Like what's your stick, Robin? What's your stick? What's your stick? I just want to know. What's your stick? So then, before we can even dive down deep into what their situationship is, Nikki asked the question: if it was asked that someone would pay y'all $1 billion to sleep with someone, who would you be? Before Robin can even answer that question, here goes Giselle. Oh yeah, for $50 billion, me and Robin would definitely sleep together. Oh, you already knew who you were going to sleep with the chance of getting some money. It was going to be Robin. Easy peasy, right? So then it's already like, confirmed that she'll also sleep with Ashley too. There will be a throuple. Here come Candace. I would take a part in that too. Y'all gonna have a foursome? That's gonna be interesting. Because I do believe that Ashley and Candace have some form of they have some sort of not kinship, but they can be really good together. They can be cordial. But I can also look at Ashley's attraction to females. I can see it towards being Candace. I believe Ashley is attracted to Candace, and I believe that if Candace had the right liquor in her system, she'll definitely go that route with Ashley. And Karen was like, "Oh my God, Ashley, you sleeping with Candace? That is a beautiful thing. Look at you, nigga. Look what you done. This is a miracle what you did. I love that." So, then of course we find out when Andy's baby shower came, Robin and Giselle slept in the hotel room together in a queen side bed. Might have been some spooning, might have been some leg touching, but it happened. So then we're talking: is Michael attracted to Juan due to all of the humor that we've all laughed at, all, entertained, kept talking about when it came down to the whole relationship between Juan and Michael. And of course, Lash is looking perplexed, like, what do you mean attracted? Sexually? Of course, sexually. What other way could it be? Because a grown man talking about sucking another grown man's dick, okay, a little weird. And then he's also said Juan's handsome. So Robin is like, in the day, I think he just finds it that's his humor. You know what I'm saying? Juan is a very open person, but he'll never let Michael suck his dick. He wouldn't do that. I think it's all about, we don't entertain it as the way it's being presented. It's just all about the friendship. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, like I said, we've all entertained that Michael has a crush on Juan. And it could be just a dark humor that Michael and Juan have. And Juan don't find nothing wrong with it, because he does entertain what Michael be saying. And we do joke and say, how I believe that Juan only lit up when he was in the scene with Michael. There's a bromance happening. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, it is what it is. But of course, while that's segueing into trying to understand the difference, okay, what if I had a friend or a woman who said my husband was good looking and she said she'll suck his dick, and then they become friends? What would it mean if it led to them being flirtatious? You don't think that's a little bit of cause? So a little bit, cause for reaction, a little thinking about it. What would have happened? You sure this isn't inappropriate? But of course, Robin said we don't let it get to that extent. We don't let it get to that point, because, like I said, it's just a dark humor. We don't take it that serious, that what Juan and Michael have going on. We don't. And it led to the conversation of hearing that type of statement from another man, and how can another man take it, especially if we're now entering to the LGBTQ community, because a lot of men, straight men and black men, will have a good or bad reaction to a person of the LGBTQ community talking about, you're a good looking man, I suck your dick. It's all about how the relationship is with that person, because it is a beautiful thing that another straight man won't find it an issue that a gay man is talking about a sexual act with him, because it could be just the humor of it all. Because we're saying black men have a type, so does gay men have a type. It's not automatically that every gay man finds a straight man attractive. It's not always like that. It's a type of man that they prefer. So it's just about, the maturity of a man having a relationship with a member of the LGBTQ community, and not letting it get to it being inappropriate or being awkward and stuff like that. But while Nikki is pretty much going at that level of explaining herself, or explaining the pros and cons of it, it sounded like she was outing Michael, because it was asked, does Juan have any other gay friends? She said, first of all, what do you mean? Michael's not gay. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. I would never meant to disrespect your husband that. I would never meant to do that. Because when you say other gay men, that's insinuating that Michael is gay, that he has other gay friends. Oh, no, girl, I was just saying, is Juan open to hanging with, people in the LGBTQ community? Does he have any gay friends? She said no. Okay, cool. So of course, I don't know if Karen got uncomfortable with this type of conversation, but she said, come on, let's move on, Nia. Let's move on. And Karen was like, oh, damn, Karen, you bossing me around. I'm the grand dame tonight, okay? So then we're talking about Giselle and her beauty. Because we're going back to the statement that she said about Ray. Because Ray was telling her, you need to get a move on, or that pretty look will fade. And she said, listen, I still get guys crossing the streets to come see me. So he'll be dating Barry before this fades. So, Nikki was pretty much like, so do you believe that at some point your beauty faded? She said, oh no, because they did a comparison to Giselle's face from 4 years ago when the season started to now. We can see a change. I would say that's just age. That's just age. That's just age, you know what I'm saying? Because Giselle's not an ugly woman. She's not. So then it's just like, in that time when it happened, hearing from another man telling her that her beauty might fade if she does not get a man, because she'll be alone by herself and turning old and gray. It hurt Giselle's feelings, and come from a woman who is so strong on the outside, she's not going to pretty much show her emotions by saying she felt a little hurt by that statement. And pretty much Karen trying to cape for Ray by saying, it wasn't a lie. You didn't want to ask for his advice. But then Giselle said you weren't there for the 100th time. You was not there. Either way, your husband came out of his mouth telling me I need to find a man because I'm gonna look ugly if I don't. And that hurt my feelings. But of course, Karen's gonna defend her husband by saying he will never say it like that. That wasn't true. That's a lie. Moving on from that. At the end of the day, as women, we become strong-willed and we don't express ourselves when we feel hurt because we can take it. But of course, we have our moments by saying, at that time, sorry, I'm getting scared. I thought someone was crawling on me. That what he said hurt me, and then I ended up being hurt by what he was. I decided to hurt back by saying he'll be dead and buried before this phase, and kept it going, which made Karen feel some type of way about why would she say that if all he said was this. But that hurt Giselle's feelings, so she went toe to toe, basically. So then we're talking about all the jabs that Giselle takes at Karen's age. In the beginning of the season, she talked about Karen's wigs, her CVS shoes, her Geritol kicked in. She needs the pants, but at the same time, Giselle, Karen's 5 years older than you. You're in the 50 bracket yourself. You're not that far from her. So the fact that you're going towards these shady pines reads that you're giving her is not cool. Karen don't like it because at the same point in time, us going after women's age is kind of tacky. And of all the things that we could read each other on, when we can't find nothing else to read you, we talk about your age, really? Because it's kind of like, oh, so since I can't talk to you about your marriage, I can't talk to you about your clothes, I can't talk to you about how much money you have, I'm gonna go for your age. And then we're looking at the differences of Karen's face when she was first on the season to now, because Robin said you look younger than you looked on season 1. They did that comparison. Oh my God, when I tell you, it is a complete change of Karen, because Karen had those wigs, her makeup. I was like, damn it, Karen. I said that Karen looked like she was in her 60s when the season started, but she wasn't. Karen was pretty much in her early 50s when that started. And for her to be 58, she looks great. Really great. And then she talks about what she got because they said her eyes look different. Her skin has changed. She said, I eat well, I exercise. I get a little bit filler up in my eye area. You know what I'm saying? Which is normal to do, normal to keep up. So then we're talking about Giselle. Would you have given Jamal a second chance? She said 100%. And because when it came down to her fighting her success and her coming up with her own stream of income, Jamal was there completely being supportive. So she saw a different side of him, because it was kind of like, if you're saying Jamal is the love of your life, how come he only shows up for a storyline for you? This is the only time we see him show for you when he's on TV. But then she explained how he's been supportive of her, getting her own income, creating her own name. And it became where they can become equal footing, because remember, Giselle said earlier in the season, she fell in Jamal's shadow because he was the main provider, he was the main breadwinner, and Giselle couldn't keep up with that because she didn't work. So it was like, so what did you do for the time being? I was spending his money because I knew I wasn't working. Was it from the church because a pastor? No. He had several streams of income. So while she helped him get his church off the ground, he was also getting paid from his preaching engagements, his bookings for his reading, for his books. And he just wanted to pretty much let the church build up on his own, let it prosper on his own. And it started with him, her, and 40 people, and it's now branched to 15,000, which is amazing. So they go to commercial break, and while they're coming back, we now find out that while they were on commercial break, Wendy was peeking through the cards, reading the cue cards, reading the question cards, and I'm kind of like, really, Wendy, you gonna cheat? That's not fair. But even though she only read Robin's cards, it still wasn't fair that you decided to look over and read her cards. Would you ever read Andy's cards? Come on, Wendy, come on. You have to stay within. Let it be fair. I understand about being nosy, being intrusive, trust and believe, I get that, but I feel like, Wendy, you cannot always be on top of everything to get prepared. Sometimes you're going to get surprised and shocked by things you're not going to be able to instantly have an answer for. Because she was speaking to Eddie, and Eddie is already like, damn, she's getting on all of y'all. I know, I'm afraid what's going to happen when she comes to me. So, Yeah, yeah. So we get to Karen, and we're talking about how the fight between Karen and Giselle had this season, and how Karen pretty much warned Giselle about, you don't want this smoke, and then she opened it, she wanted it. Then we're talking about the hot box, and Karen was like, from the blogs, I had something that hurt her. That's gonna always happen, and I told Giselle she didn't want it from me, but she kept going. So Giselle is pretty much saying it's gonna always be me and her. We're gonna always go back and forth, always. And at the end of the day, it's never gonna stop. When she tells me you don't want this, I'm gonna go with it because I want it. You know what I'm saying? And Karen said, "I'm gonna fight fire with fire, but I'm gonna fight at the point where I can hit you with the level of ammunition that I have." I know it might sound like a contradictory when it came to Candace, because Candace can fight fire with fire, but yet she has to be censored into what she said. I believe that's kind of like why Karen said, "I fight with what I can hit you with, what I know I can hurt you." You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go any further than what I know. What I know is going to affect you. I'm not going to use it until I absolutely have to. But then Robin is saying under her breath that Karen speaks lies while Giselle has facts. What facts does Giselle have? Other than maybe talking about how Karen was drunkenly admitting that she was upset that Ray did not thank her for helping him pay his taxes. That's all I can think of, because she was saying the drunk truth, cheating truth, all that type of stuff. But I'm gonna say, shut up, Robin. So then, what has going on between just Karen and Ray in their bed? Have y'all gotten more freaky? Because I seen y'all hold hands. I seen you sit on his lap. He said, "I love you." When they flash back to Karen struggling to get on Ray's lap, I'm like, oh, I hope she don't fall. She's so struggling. And then, as far as like y'all getting it in, do you grab his ass when he on top of you? I did not want that image. I didn't want it. I didn't want him. So then we're on topic of teabagging, because Karen said, "I'm not doing teabagging," and Nikki said, "I'm so glad you brought that up." So you really did not believe it. You really did not know what teabagging and tossing the salad meant. It was an ask of hands. Who does not believe that Karen knew that she knew about tossing the salad? Ashley wrote her hand, Robin did, Mia did, Giselle did. We're like, I believe she knew. But then she said, "I'm not doing none of that. You told me I'm not doing it." Then Candace says she is not going to enter butt sex until 25 years. I was like, well, Candace, I don't know why you want to wait that long to try it. Just try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gotta be all. It ain't gotta be. Damn it. Oh my God, what am I saying? At the end of the day, there are a lot of things that you can open up your sex palette if you want to. There are some things you can say yes to, you can try to, you can say, oh, that's a no all the way. I will not be changing my mind. It's all about, just seeing how far your level can go when it comes to opening your sex palette. Just seeing how freaky you'll get. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'll move on. So we get to Mia and her challenges of what happened with her mother on the show and how's it going. And it definitely hurt Nikki for her to have that conversation with her mother, telling her what her father did, because her mother expressed that every time she sees Mia, she gets so angry because she looks just like her father, and she would treat her differently, talk to her mean, just be outright angry. And, did you explain how that hurt you? Mia did not want to, no, she said it hurt her, but she didn't want to tell her mother that it hurt her, because she's trying to pretty much, save her mother's feelings. Because since she is a recovering addict, and she has been trying to rebuild a relationship with her, she does not want to remind her or be honest with how, her mother have made her feel. But Nick was like, "No, bump that. You need, you have feelings too. While your mother's feelings are understood, but you need to make sure you tell her you're sorry. I mean, you were hurt as well by what she said." And of course, it's a day by day. She's now watching my kids, and she's at my house, so we're getting better. I'm really happy about that, because it did suck though that Mia had to tiptoe around her mother's feelings to not express how her mother made her feel, because she doesn't want to make her mother upset. But if her mother made Mia feel some type of way growing up because she was so mad about the father, that she looked at me and just all she saw was her father, that she got so upset, so angry, which led to the point where she didn't want to deal with her, since she reminded so much of her father. But that's not Mia's fault. You need to find a way to cope with the anger and the pain and the hatred that you have with the father. You need to figure out a way to deal with that, not take it out on Mia. It's not Mia's fault. So then it's like we need to have a healing moment upon this group. Not just the funny shit, not just the mean shit. We need to have a healing moment, and we're working on that. So then we're talking about Mia's sex life with her husband, because you got surgeries. Has the surgeries, created where you could get, more climax? Has it helped out your climax? You know what I'm saying? Has it increased your sexual boost? You know what I'm saying? Maybe she meant the vaginal. I heard the vaginal rejuvenation is supposed to make the walls more tight, make you a little bit wetter, should make your orgasms better. It's supposed to pretty much give you a brand new vagina, ready for the world, or ready for your husband to pretty much try it out for the first time again. And what other menage a trois that you guys have going on? Do you guys bring in Becky's? Because it's said in the season that G likes white girls. And Mia picks him out and he do what it do. Because I remember that, I remember at Karen's love party, that the way that G and Gordon met, and how at times they do open their bedrooms to threesomes. And lately, I believe Mia only entered in two of them. And after that, she was done. She had her experience, but G still likes a woman in the bedroom from time to time. So she trusts her husband by her picking out a woman, and she watches them, and she has no issues with that. So then, of course, she said, I pick gorgeous exotic women. So then we're talking about why was it such an issue for Mia to say, or why did Mia issue a statement that Eddie was attracted to her? Why would you say that as a married woman? Why should it be, important to you that another woman's husband finds you attractive? Oh no, am I skipping? Oh yeah, sorry. With that being said, let me pause and then add this. So this was pretty much, so you do invite other women into the bedroom. Did you ever think to invite men? She said no, not interested. So of course they felt like it was a little bit not fair. Let it be fair. If you're interested in a man, you need to bring a man in. As long as, because he's finding interest in women, you're bringing that in. Let it be fair. But I'm like, it's all about the interest. Because me and my husband have had numerous conversations about threesomes and stuff. And I'll be like, I don't know, because I already knew you would not want a man in the bedroom. He said, hell no, I wouldn't want that. No. And I ain't got no issue with that, because I'm not going to do that either. I'm not going to, to me, I feel like that would be disrespecting my husband for me bringing another man into the bedroom versus then of us partaking another woman in the bedroom. That's just me. I'm going to move on. I'm move on. So, of course, oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna get to what I just mentioned about the whole thing with Eddie, but I'm gonna talk about this real quick. So we're on the subject of marrying older men. Ashley, Karen, and Mia are all married to older men. So if y'all had $100 million in your own bank account by the time y'all met y'all men, would y'all even look their way? Ashley pretty much said no at that time because she was bartending. So of course she would not look her way at Michael. But she said she was attracted to Michael. They said attracted to what? She said he was funny, he was dynamic, he had a witty sense of humor. She met him when she was 22. Listen, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. However we want to say, how Ashley was trying to work her way up from poverty, work her way from bartending to get a man with money. Hey, it is what it is. If that's her situation, that's her situation. For Karen, she obviously would still want Ray because she felt like Ray was her soulmate when she first met him. Ray was it for me. And I would never date a broke man. That was going to be a no. And yes, it did make it good that Ray had a little bit of money. People call him the next Bill Gates. For Mia, she said that she would still be an entertainer, a stripper, if she got with G and had her own $100 million. They were like, for what? Why would you want to do that? Because I like it. Now I feel like I go back to the pole because I'm hanging out with these hoes. I don't know. Mia had her own $100 million in the account and she still met G. I don't think she'll be back in the strip club. It is what it is. I'm gonna move on. So of course we're talking about the dynamics of what is a strip club. What does it mean to have a strip club? What ideas or what thing or what acts what items scream strip club, because we're on and on about Mia and how she said she was an entertainer not a stripper, but yet it's being back and forth of how she was an entertainer, a stripper, she wore gowns, she served steak and lobster. So it's like, what the hell were you at? I've already answered this the first time it was being said. So to me it's looking like maybe, like I said, maybe Mia was a hostess or a waitress for a high-end gentleman's club where they do take their clothes off from time to time, but the main thing is they want them to have very high-end clothes. So of course then she brings up this story how she wanted to be more respectful to women who don't want to be using the term strippers. So she said entertainers, someone show up for them, I guess. So of course it's like you don't put stripper on your resume, you put entertainer. Candace was like, I don't think strippers have resume. I don't know. So it's kind of like, listen, at the end of the day, do you bust it wide open at a club? Do you bust it wide open in a strip club? What does that mean? But then Mia said, first of all, I never busted wide open the way that Wendy did at Eastern Shore. She busted wide open. So they replayed the clip how Wendy was dropping it low. And Gia said, anybody got some change? I'm gonna make it rain. So Winnie did her little drop it low, dip it up slow, pick it up slow. And it was like, hey. So of course, it's it leads to Wendy getting into her feelings to chime in on, first of all, now you're saying it's a different for me doing it, but then of course, you want to bring up a statement on how you're mad that, my husband looking me in the eye and this and that. And you pop up, but then of course, she said G doesn't. Oh wait, yeah. A point that another woman's husband, he's looking in the eye. The whole party like you're upset by another woman, and that can't do it. And Giselle is annoyed, and Candace keep popping up when it's not even her question to ask because we're talking about the question. Why was it so important that Eddie, another woman's husband, has to look you in the eye? And then it's like, Candace said we were intimidated by her or something, and Nikki is tired of Candace chiming in. Said, "Girl, I'm gonna have you go get your projector and go sit in the corner because I'm done with you. Nobody's been chiming in when you talking. Why are you chiming in when it comes to someone else, especially with Mia? We're not there with you yet, okay? Put her on timeout." So then it's like, well, obviously Mia coming from the world of being on the pole, being all the attention. She said she looked at herself as a sex symbol. So of course she was used to herself being a center of attention, used to men staring at her and gawking at her. She was used to that. But I don't know. To me, I felt like Wendy was still in her feelings about what was being said about Eddie, but it wasn't a big deal to me when it came to the whole thing about looking Eddie in the eye. But then we're flashing back to the game that they played at Karen's house because Mia feels like Wendy was being controlling. Like she was watching Eddie's every move where it made it seem as if he was afraid of her. Because when they were playing that game, he wrote someone's name, and I think Wendy said that looked like you wrote Mia's name. Because it was asked, if you could think of anyone else in your friend group as attractive, who would it be? A couple or something. So while that happened, it looked like Wendy was being insecure in that moment of not wanting Mia's name written down. And of course, it felt like, what was so important about that? So it made it seem as if, Wendy, you definitely made an issue with Eddie writing Mia's name over a game that wasn't that serious. And Nikki said, I do believe that Wendy played herself by acting insecure in that moment. So of course, but she's trying to make it understanding from what it was coming from. And of course, it still led to the whole back and forth of Wendy still trying to make it known, listen, girl, you still talking about someone else's husband, not looking at you. That's an issue for me. And of course, Mia said, G don't give two shits about what was being said. It's not that serious. Oh, so the same husband that don't give a shit about you can also fuck someone in front of you that don't give a shit about you. I said, Wendy, why you say that? Wendy, why you say that? That wasn't cool to say. I don't know. Wendy was, and she was smiling. She was bubbly, but it wasn't like a I don't know. It was a very, oh, I can't even find the words, but it was all over the place, bubbly. I couldn't get with it. And she said, again, why are you focusing on how we do our marriage and why are you bringing up things that we do? That wasn't cool to do. So they're going back and forth, and it wasn't nice. And then, what was she saying? Yeah, because Mia told her shut the fuck up. I would not shut the fuck up. I'm talking about my husband, right? I'm talking about my husband. It's my husband I'm talking about, right? But we weren't talking about. Okay. Moving on from that, and then it's like, Wendy had a condescending attitude. Oh, you mad? You mad? Big mad. I don't know. It didn't sit with me. I didn't like that at all. So we get to Wendy. Of course, we're on the subject of how it was a little odd that Wendy became a 4 degrees commentary professor at Johns Hopkins and now selling candles. Not wrong to do. Create multiple streams of income of what you like, what you're passionate about, and turn into a business. Not mad at all, but of course, a lot of people did find it weird how you presented yourself from the first season to now you're doing this. That's all we were saying. So, of course, why she didn't like Ashley's approach to how it was being presented, it still was the same question that everybody wanted to know. Your behavior is changing. You was all this and now you're this. Somebody had to say it, whether or not I like Ashley's approach. And the reason why she didn't like it was because it came from multiple people and then it comes directly to me. Since Giselle was the main one who wanted to talk about it, she could have came to me and said it. So, then we're talking about Eddie and his following of booty models. Did you get your butt done because he follows booty models? She said, listen, my ass was not as big as the booty models, but it's still mine and I'm loving it. So you didn't do it for the marriage. You didn't do it for the booty models. What did you do it for? Myself. But then of course it's like, so are you okay with what your husband is following? She said, I don't care what he follows. He can do what he wants. I don't care. I don't believe you, Winnie. I don't believe you're that carefree as to what your husband is looking at, not looking at. Because the way that was presented at that game, how you wanted to check him on what name he was writing, something tells me you monitor who he follows and who he's in contact with and who DMs you allow him to answer. That's just me. You give that type of control and tease. So while all of that was happening, yeah, because the dropping like a low, the booty pop thing, the whole G making it rain. Wendy again say, "Oh girl, please, you was having sex in the Waffle House while he was scraping eggs off the floor, off your ass. You was getting the scrambled eggs off your ass." I don't know. I didn't like that. We bring it up again, and then on the other side, Candace and Giselle are arguing, and she said, "That's low budget. That's low budget." Did she mean low budget as Mia telling Wendy about a joke about how she wanted some ones? She was dropping it low. I don't know, but it was a joke. It wasn't that serious. But again, like I said, throughout this entire reunion, Wendy was giving a lot of negative energy to Mia that wasn't warranted, that wasn't necessary to me. It wasn't. All of Wendy's energy towards Giselle and Robin was necessary, but to me, towards Mia, it wasn't. It wasn't. So Giselle's pretty much telling Candace, let them deal with it. Don't hop in. Oh my goodness, I just want this to be over. So we're talking about Candace and her mother and how, it was completely mind-boggling that your mother disrespected your husband on TV. And how do you feel about it? So she starts to cry. And then, she's like, at the end of the day, did you check your mother about it? Because what is happening right now, this is going to bleed into your marriage and it can potentially lead to a divorce if you don't get this checked, you don't get this handled. You need to set boundaries for your mother to not come out here and say those disrespectful things that she said. Like, how did you feel when that happened? She said she cried. She immediately spoke to her mother and she took a break from her for about a few weeks. But of course, Candace doesn't want to completely sever or tell her mother exactly how she feels, because of course it's about her mother. She doesn't want to lose her mother, but she believes that she will hear from someone else from a higher level, a higher learning, a more important person. I don't know, but your mother needs to know. She cannot go around saying anything she wants to say just for the sake of saying on TV if it's about your husband. She needs to learn and respect the fact this is your husband and she should treat him with respect. No matter how she feels about it, she still needs to respect that's your husband. And, she's like, I don't know why she's being so mean to someone who has nothing but been good to her, nice to her. And Karen said what was happening at the photo shoot. She says, you need to stop doing this because the more you talk about her husband, the more you're going to lose her. You're going to end up pushing your daughter away because you don't like her husband. At the end of the day, Chris is who Candace has chose to be her husband. Mommy Di's going to have to deal with it. Otherwise, she's going to lose her daughter and possibly any grandchildren that Chris and Candace might have if this does not get handled and fixed. So, of course, it's just like, trying to get her to understand to set a boundary. So then we're talking about Candace's song. And on scale of 1 to 10, who thought it would have been a success? 10 being successful, 1 being a flop. Mia being petty, she said -2 because she hasn't heard the song. Even though she's in the video, she didn't care. Karen trying not to answer by saying she's talented, a 9 for effort, a 9 for talent. No, give us your full honesty. So she said a 5. A 5 is good. So we're talking about the success of her song. It is now number 24 on Billboard, number 4 on iTunes. It's been downloaded over 4 million streams. And then this Nikki wants to know how many albums has been sold. So of course she's talking about 4 million streams. She meant the single? No, I need to mean the whole album. So she get in her graphics that she just got about the number of streams has been said about the whole album. Because Nikki wants to know how he charted. And she's charted. She even was nominated for a Grammy for Best Artist, I believe, of her album, which is amazing. I downloaded the songs. I said that before. So her album has been pretty much downloaded for, her album has been downloaded for, damn it. She has over 20,000 streams downloaded, 20,000 streams, 20,000 copies downloaded from her album. And that's really good. So, of course, Nikki was trying to make sure she knew all the semantics, all the schematics, all the numbers. But I feel like at the end of the day, I don't know. It could be Nikki was being a little bit messy, a little bit shady, and trying to check Candace's, success because the song has been out for 2 months. But now, Candace has a new single. No, not a new single. A remix to her song Benefits. I love that song. And now she has a Christmas song out. Listen, when you make a Christmas song, that's going to play all year. Check Mariah Carey. Check Mariah Carey. Check Boyz II Men. Check everybody else who made a Christmas song. You get buku amount of money for any Christmas song that you make. So good for you, Candace. So then we're like, moving on to Nikki's asking her to sing her song, Drive Back. Let's sing some acapella because I hear you have some couple auto tunes in your songs. I do for creative purposes. Okay, sing some acapella. So of course he's hesitant, and everybody was like, "Go ahead, just sing. You ain't got to sing a whole line. Just sing like 4 or 5 lines, 4 or 5 bars. That's it." How about a gospel song? No happy birthday, no gospel. Sing your stuff. So of course it's just all left and right. Sing, sing, sing. So she sings and they're snapping. She did a really good job. Candace has a great voice. I love her songs. I love her music. I'm happy for her. So while they're pretty much at the last 2 minutes of the reunion, Mia said, first of all, we gotta stop. I gotta pee. So while they're waiting for her to come back, everybody's getting touch us for a quick second, drinking some water. Chris comes in and he is like, I didn't like the line of questioning. It wasn't cool. But then Candace was like, but everybody got the same amount of questions that I did. Everybody got, sudden questions that we had to answer. Yeah, I know. I just didn't like it. It wasn't cool. Why are you upset? Did you not think that was good? Never mind. Well, like Nikki said, she has all of the comments, questions, all the viewers that ask those types of questions that we want to know the answers to. So it wasn't directly at anybody. Everybody got their licks in. Everybody. So then everybody was like, why is he still complaining? And then Chris wants to pass it off as Giselle started because Giselle said, but it was just good for her. She was so brave to sing her song in front of Nicki Minaj. That's amazing. Even Andy gave his credit for it. They're so proud of her. Don't diminish this. This is good. So then, we're ending it with some tequila shots to a great season, to Andy, to Nikki for being a great host. I'm happy for all y'all. You guys are queens. And good luck to y'all. Love y'all. Happy ending of season 6 of Real Housewives of Potomac. And that was the end of the reunion and the season. Yay! Let me make sure I went through everything that I can think of before I end this video, because it wasn't a lot I wasn't trying to read into, just trying to get the main focal points out. But everybody got a pretty much good running. Everybody did. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But y'all, that's it. That's the end of it. Season 6 is over. I will be reviewing Portia's Family Values. Not Portia. Portia Family Matters. I will be reviewing that. That might be up either tomorrow, but I'm going to see you guys later. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.